everyone, this is Teresa Green from Slow Paths Wellness, and I'm doing my Mindful Monday video a little bit on the go today. Today I'm going to use some information I got from a podcast called Being Well with Rick Hansen and his son Forrest. And Rick Hansen is one of the main people that I've read and studied that talks about looking for the positive things that you're the way positive feelings, positive thoughts, and learning how to train your brain to really focus on those so that it starts becoming habitual, so that you don't have to go out so hard and consciously look for good, that your brain starts subconsciously kind of doing that for you, which is something that needs to be trained, because the natural tendency of nervous systems is to look for risks as a way of self-preservation. But you can cultivate the idea of looking for positive too, and that's one of the things that I've learned through Rick Hansen. So his podcast today, or his most recent podcast, is on cultivating a sense of friendship with yourself. And so he had an exercise at the end of it, and this isn't exactly the same exercise, but it was inspired by that. So I'll put a link to that episode of the podcast down on the comments of this video. So what I'd like you to do today for your mindfulness practice is get yourself comfortable. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, and you can take them comfortably deep, not where you're really having to work for it, because sometimes that can be distracting. All right, now, and you can close your eyes or not, whatever is most comfortable for you. Most people find concentrating is a little easier with your eyes closed, but if you're driving or if you're doing something that requires attention, you might want to either hold off on doing this or kind of do it with a less sharp focus so that you're able to focus on the road and the things that you need to do. So now I want you to think about one of the people in your life that you really, really admire, that you really count on, that you really trust, someone that you would do just about anything for, someone that if they needed something in the middle of the night, you would go and help them, someone that you feel you encourage. So when you see them in a hard time, you want them to feel better. When you see them trying something new, you're encouraging them with it. If they come to you and they say, "Can you give me your opinion on this?" You trust them and you count on them and you believe in them enough to both be honest, but also to be very loving. And so much so that even if you see them doing something that they don't ask you about, but your relationship is very close, that you would be able to go up to them and go, I really care about you and I'm really concerned about what's going on right now. And if you're open to it, I'd like to give you some advice. So someone who checks all those boxes, that if you needed them, you feel completely comfortable calling them, that you know that they will be there for you, that if you needed help, if there's something you couldn't do on your own, if something happened, something devastating happened and you needed a loan or you needed them to take you to the doctor or to, kind of put a big extra effort out into helping you, you could count on them to be there for that. Someone that you like to do things with, someone that you like to go places with, they're your favorite people to go out to a restaurant with, or there's a kind of movie that the two of you love and you go to do that, or a subject that you love to talk about, someone that you just really, really enjoy being around, someone that you admire, someone that you respect in their values, that you believe that they do things from a sense of integrity and honesty, someone that you just find qualities about them that you enjoy. You enjoy how much fun they are, how good a sense of humor they have, or their sense of empathy. And you can take a moment to just really focus on those qualities in that person and just focus on looking for and scanning, the things you know about that person and looking for the things that are really positive that maybe you haven't necessarily thought of before. Something like the way that, any dog that goes by, they stop to pet, or, anything that you just warms your heart when you think about them. So let's take about 3 or 4 breaths and just kind of take in that entire positive feeling about a person. And because sometimes this happens in life, you're in a time of life where you don't have any people like that around you necessarily. Then make up a person. Have an imaginary person. It can be someone that you know about from books or movies, or just someone in your head. Dr. Hansen talks about what he calls, and I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it's something like his circle of compassion or his circle of care. It's like an imaginary committee in his head that are full of encouraging, helpful, informative people that he goes to kind of in a meditative kind of way to say, okay, okay, counsel of, care, what do you think about this problem I'm having? And I've heard other people talk about that as well, about having, and I have that in my own mind. I have kind of like a little imaginary group of people that I turn to when I have problems to think about, and it's easier to do that than to try to cultivate it on my own. So pick someone, whether they're real or imaginary, that would be in that circle of care, and do the exercise we just talked about of finding all the positive things you like about them and on how it feels to have someone that you really count on, that you feel is both competent and caring and able to help you. And let's just focus on that for a moment. And we'll count, say, 5 breaths for that. And as you might be able to hear, there's some sirens here, but we can just let that go into the background. All right, so now take all of that feeling and that thought and that confidence in that person and the understanding that that person is for you and supports you and that you're willing to support them and be there for them and just all the healthy, good, positive things about that person. And now I want you to turn that focus from that person, turn it around to yourself and think about yourself. Think about the things the qualities of yourself you like. Do you have a good sense of humor? Do you cry easily at things because you're very tender-hearted? Do you love to watch kittens? Are you good at math? Are you good at words? Are you the person that everyone asks when there's an odd fact that they need to have because you have a storehouse of little facts in your head? Are you the one that people turn to when they need someone to have that last little push to say, yeah, I know you can do it. Come on, go, you can do this. Are you the one that's there when people cry? Are you the one that makes time to call people to check on them? Are you the one that takes people to doctor's visits or on trips? What is it about you that you really enjoy? Do you love the way that you can decorate? Do you like the way that your handwriting? I mean, it can be anything big or small about yourself that you just really enjoy about yourself, that you're either proud of or that amuses you. Sometimes I amuse myself with the funny things that I see. I mean, sometimes I'm very good at putting human qualities onto creatures and animals, and I talk to pots and pans sometimes, about where are you? Show me where you are because I'm missing you right now and I really need to cook lunch. And it's kind of a whimsical thing, and I like that about myself. So something like that in your own life that you like. Do you like the way you look in red? I mean, it can be anything. And just spend a few moments, just like you did with the person, real or imagined, that you looked for their good qualities, and just think about that. And we'll do that for about 3 breaths. Okay, now, one last thing. I want you to think about this and continue thinking about yourself for this, and think about the way that you can be there for yourself. I want you to think about what it would be like to see yourself as a person that you can count on for your own health care, your own wellness, your own sense of fun, taking care of yourself. I want you to think of yourself as someone who can take care of you. And to think, you don't have to think about specifics, especially not if you're on the beginning of this journey and you may still be learning how to do this, but to just really focus on the idea of I can be a person that I can depend on to take care of me, that I can stand up for myself. I can learn how to be better at looking out for my needs. I can learn to be good at taking care of myself and having fun. And if you're already doing that, give yourself a pat on the back. Good for you for making sure that this very important person whose name is, and put your name in there, Teresa in my case, is living their best life and is really doing well. And just give yourself a couple moments and think about yourself in that way. And we'll do 3 breaths just thinking of yourself as a person who has your self-interest at heart, who's looking out for you, and who's willing to do what it takes to make sure that you are happy and healthy and well. So let's do that for another 3 breaths. All right, so now, as you go through today, anytime you think of it, just give yourself an extra little feeling of that. Give yourself that extra idea of, that's right, I'm a person who has a lot of good qualities, and I can help take care of myself, and I can learn the things I need to learn. And part of what I can do with that is, as I take care of myself, it makes it easier for me to understand other people and take care of them. And so that way I have the give and take of relationships that's really important in life. But a big part of that give and take is taking care of myself and being someone who's my own best friend. So that's Mindful Monday for today. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day, and I will see you next week.